I caught my coworker texting my 14-year-old daughter. I should have known that it was happening. This all started about 2 months ago from what I have gathered. My daughter just entered her moody teenager phase, meaning she would spend hours of the day scrolling through social media or something, day after day in her room. I guess I mostly have myself to blame for that. Her mother died last year, and I was not there for my daughter like I should have been, and a distance has formed between us. Maybe she used social media and online friends as an outlet or something. Every now and then I would look over and notice her texting, and I couldn't help but snoop. I saw texts that read we should hang out, and her cute. It comforted me to think that she was being social, although I don't know how happy it made me that it was with boys. Last week, she asked me if she could meet with a friend from school on Saturday, which would be the first time she's hung out with anybody besides me and her grandma in months. Of course I said yes, and she seemed happier and closer to me during the rest of the week. On Saturday, I drove her to the mall and told her when I would pick her up. I was very happy and proud of her, walking into the mall, and just as I turned to back up, I saw my friend from work, David, pull into the spot next to me. We talked and laughed for a bit and I asked what he was here to buy. He told me he was just meeting a friend he hadn't seen in a long time, and we parted ways. As I began to drive away, I didn't know what made me stop. I had this super uneasy feeling that something bad was going to happen. I pulled off to the side of the road and decided to go back and make sure my daughter was safe. I was driving back and I was upset at myself for letting her go without telling me who she was with. But I was definitely just psyching myself out. I pulled back into the same spot, right next to David's beat-up Camry. I walked into the mall looking for my daughter. I found her sitting on a bench in the middle of the mall, texting on her phone. I was relieved. I turned to walk away but something caught my eye. I saw David walking on the far side of the mall, directly toward my daughter. I watched him walk up to my daughter and stop in front of her. I was frozen in place. My daughter looked up at him and smiled. She stood up and they hugged. Then they grabbed each other's hands and started walking towards one of the shops. Holy effing poop, David is the friend? He's 22. I started running towards them. I caught my coworker texting my 14-year-old daughter. I started running toward both of them and right as I got to David he turned around and caught a fist right across his chin. He fell to the ground and before he could even put up his arms to block his face I hit him again, and again, and again. I blacked out, because the next thing I knew, I was being pulled off him by the mall security guard. The rest was a blur of rage. We were both taken to the police station to give statements. They wanted to know why I beat the poop out of him, and I told them that he had met my 14-year-old daughter at the mall. They didn't seem to care. Finally they let me go and I drove my daughter back home. It was a quiet ride home and my daughter didn't say anything until later that night when I made her dinner. It was silent until she said he told me he was 17. I froze. What did you say? We have been talking online for a few months and he told me that he was 17 and that he was from a few towns over. I demanded that she show me the texts between them. She was reluctant at first but finally she showed me. I felt sick to my stomach scrolling through these intimate texts between the grown butt man and my daughter. I came across a picture and almost fell out of my chair. He sent her a PP pic. I got my daughter and drove to the police station immediately. David's house and computer were searched and they found countless young girls that he had lied to and ended up having intimacy with. They said that all of the girls were below 16. David was locked up for a long time and I can't wait till he gets out so I can kick his butt again.